All right.
Okay, well, welcome everyone to the Facilities Committee meeting. Mike will not be here. His back's bothering him really bad. So Peg and myself will take care of this. So Peg will have an approval of January 21st and February 23rd meeting minutes, if you would.
So moved.
Second, any discussion? No, not for me.
Nope.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we'll take care of that. So we will move on to old business and start with the Giza project and the chiller installation. Yay.
Yeah, so mostly just updates this evening. The new chiller was delivered to the high school yesterday, actually. And I do have a quick picture here. I can share.
It's lovely.
Can everyone see that?
Yep, looks great.
The chiller just squeaking by the double doors by about an inch and a half on each side. It was delayed a few days based on the weather events that took place in Texas, but the project manager assures me that they can make that up. We gave them a deadline of April 19th, so they have a full month to get this in service. There's quite a bit of work that has to take place, reconfiguring piping, new pumps. They're flushing the entire chilled water system where we're adding what they call a side stream filter to filter sediment out of the chilled water loop. New water treatment. There's quite a bit of work left, but this is certainly a major milestone that everyone was excited to see roll in on the flatbed. So,
Oh yeah,
so
definitely
good there.
Yep. Any questions on that? Anybody? No? It's looking good. Let's hope we hit our April 19th date. Would be really nice.
What's the thing that's outside the back right now? That's just a temporary?
We pulled the old chiller out, and then there's also a large dumpster out there for metal piping and such. So they look very similar. They're the same color, generally the same size and shape. But they wanted to get the old chiller out of the way first, so the new chiller didn't sit outside for any long period of time. So it was just in time. They pulled the old out the day before and put the new one in the next day. So that worked out really well.
Yep, that's good news. Good news. So I guess we'll move on to ductwork surveys.
So you probably recall back in 2018 when we had the mold issues at the high school, there was a presentation, I believe, delivered to the school board at the time saying that the ductwork in the high school was in disrepair and potentially needed to be replaced. And there was a number kind of thrown out there of $3 million. Well, as part of this project, we were very interested in, confirming or denying whether, that was the case or not. So through Noresco, we asked that they conduct a survey, and they in turn hired One Source, which is the same environmental consultant that helped us out in 2018, to look at sort of a representative sample, or what they thought was a representative sample of the ductwork in primarily the 100 and primarily 100. There was, I think, 1 in 400, one down near the athletics wing, one in the mechanical penthouse above 200. And they came back with a report that was contrary to what the school board was told back in 2018. That's the good news.
Yeah.
The ductwork was largely intact. There was some evidence of some prior coating done in the ductwork. Where they actually accessed the ductwork in the classrooms where the diffusers are, there was some evidence of the fiberglass breaking down. So we have some pictures, and we've been talking about how to handle that. After that report was delivered, I wasn't completely satisfied, because I thought the sample size wasn't large enough. And some of the areas that were sort of ground zero for the mold, like the science rooms in the 200 wing, were not surveyed. So I asked them to go back and do more. So they went back and surveyed another 5 or 6 locations, and I picked those locations personally. And essentially the same type of report came back, that the ductwork was largely intact, and we just had some issues around the diffusers about a foot or 18 inches back. So what we decided to do was, as part of phase 1B, was to include a duct cleaning and an encapsulation scope that we're asking the contractors to bid essentially as an alternate, just to see where it comes in. There, it could certainly use a cleaning. Some of that ductwork has been there since, the 60s. But it was cleaned in 2018. We're just interested in, anything we can do to improve the indoor air quality is sort of our mantra and what we're trying to accomplish as part of this project. So we'll see where those come in. But, the good news overall is that we don't need to spend $3 million replacing all of the ductwork in the high school. So I know every time we sort of talk about this Hvac project, that's one of the first questions that board members who were in that, on the board back in 2018 have. So I wanted to kind of put everyone at ease that that's not the case based on these recent surveys that we've done.
That's good. It gave us all a heart attack when we heard that. Just saying.
Well, that's a lot of bake sales. So
It's a lot of bake sales.
Very much so. So, I'll circle back with the group once the 1B pricing comes in and come back with a recommendation on how to, there were deficiencies. It wasn't anything significant, and certainly nothing to the tune of $3 million. So
Good. Okay. Terrific. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we can move on to the classroom lighting retrofit samples.
So part of phase 1A is lighting retrofits, exterior and interior. Exterior is rather straightforward, parking lot lights, floodlights, things like that, fairly standard. Interior is really a district-wide relamping of all of the fixtures to a standard LED luminaire. In talking with our consultants from Provident and ICS, we thought it was a good idea to do some samples rather than just authorize the contractor to install these new luminaires, these new lights throughout the district. We picked, I think it was 6 different locations, 6 different classrooms to have the new lighting installed so we could basically do a proof of concept before we install it district-wide.
Yep. Makes sense.
In Hereford, we picked one of the kindergarten classrooms, and we picked one of the classrooms in the new wing. Same thing at the high school. We picked one in, I think, the 200, and then one in the 400. And then we picked a classroom at Marlboro, seeing that they were all standard there, in a classroom in 4-5 as well. So once that is done, we'll let the teachers and the administration, evaluate the lighting in those classrooms. It should be an improvement. It should be, the colors should be more genuine and more even, and the lighting levels better. And it should be an improvement overall. And hopefully we can all agree and then just give them the go ahead to do the balance of the district. But we just thought this was, just a kind of a checkpoint to make sure that we're going down the right road before we roll it out district-wide. So that's the current plan as part of 1A.
That's good. We switched all of our lighting at work to LED, all the same. And I know some of our guys were like, I can't see in this stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. I think some of it may just be, getting used to it. It's certainly more energy efficient, and the O&M savings, I'm telling my staff that you're not going to have to change any light bulbs for a very long time. Has them all very excited. So, we'll get all that time back.
Yep. That's good. Good stuff. Any questions on that? No? Okay.
Nope.
All right. We'll move on to the big A word.
Yeah. So, as part of my yearly HERA posting on the public facing website, I stated in there that we are planning abatement work this summer at the high school. And it's it's directly in response to this energy conservation project because some of it is, while not an issue currently, it is in the path of construction. So it's in areas where, we may disturb it, or, we may be placing contractors in close proximity to it. So, best practice would be to remove it in advance of the construction activities and just sort of be done with it once and for all. So we have a budgetary estimate that's forthcoming. We've asked one source to put together a scope of work because there's very strict environmental controls, negative air. You have to, 10-day notice with DEP. There's a lot of coordination that has to happen. And then you have confirmatory air sampling at the end to make sure that there's, no residual and that everything was abated correctly and appropriately. So once I have that estimate, I've asked Noresco to price it or have their contractors or subcontractors price it, itemized. So potentially, we could pick and choose which areas if we need to for budgetary reasons. Truth be told, I'd like to do it all, obviously, but we'll see where the pricing comes in. And we have some design alternatives in terms of where we run piping and how we attack different areas that could change based on where the abatement comes in. And then we would at least we'd have budgetary numbers that we could add into a 5-year plan to, address it incrementally if we don't want to address it all this summer.
Okay.
I'm also working with Dr. Farina and Mrs. Bast and Mrs. Giblin on ESY and some of the other summer programs that we're looking to host. The current thinking is we're targeting to potentially have that classroom activities occur in the 300 and 400 wing, where the 100 wing and 200 wing and the corridor between the gym and the pool would essentially be off limits during this work. So,
Okay.
So once I have more detail there, I will certainly circle back to the committee. But I just wanted everyone to know that is the plan. It's we're not hiding anything. It's contained in our asbestos management plan that the public has access to, and it's a good opportunity to abate it in advance of the construction. So,
Yep, makes sense to me. Okay. So let's see, we'll go and move on to the Ed Center HVAC survey.
So one item that is not included in 1A or 1B is any HVAC work at the Ed Center. And that was intentional. We thought, if we have $1 to spend on the project, we direct it to the schools. But we also recognize that we have deficiencies at the Ed Center. The units that serve the storage warehouse, the old roller rink are not functioning currently, at least in the heating mode, and based on their advanced age, or it's really cost prohibitive to fix it or fix them. There's actually 2 units there, and then the large unit out by the rear steps near where we keep the dumpsters. That one struggles in the summer, and we're finding that we're having to put increasing amounts of money into it to keep it operational. So no obligation to the district. We just asked Noresco to have HT Lyons, which is the contractor for the chiller, to just come through the Ed Center and give us kind of what they call a ROM, an order of magnitude estimate of what that HVAC costs would look like if we decide to replace not only the unit that serves the office area, but also the units that serve the rink. So that's pending. I don't have that yet,
Okay.
but it's not, it's well into the 6 figures if we decide to do this work. So
Yeah.
full transparency, it would not be cheap.
No.
No.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. We actually have temporary heat in the rink right now. So we'll see what happens come summertime. I don't know if we're gonna have air conditioning or not. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay. All right. Any questions on that? Anybody? No? Good.
No, I just have concerns about that building in general, but well, I'll bring that up another time.
Yeah. Well, let's see what it looks like before we dive into that. Okay. Move on to the high school varsity softball field with the drainage improvement.
The softball field drainage improvements, one of the takeaways from our last meeting was for me to solicit a professional services proposal from Barry Isaac to help us through this project. So not only design of the specifications, but also helping us during the bidding phase and then sort of championing the construction phase services during the project. That proposal has come in and I've had a chance to review it. The costs seem to be in line and the scope seems to be in line as well. I think it's about $22,750, which was consistent with what Mr. Mazika had told us previously. So my recommendation would be to move forward with this as part of the larger project. There's some stipulations in here because it's tied to an NPDES permit for the new middle school, and we have to let that expire. This work does not necessarily have to be done in the summer. It could go into the fall. Obviously, just trying to get it complete by, I would say probably by November. So that would be my recommendation. This is in line with what I expected, and the scope matches what I expected as well. If the committee wants to continue to move forward, my question to the committee is, do we list this at the workshop, or would we prefer to hold off until the board meeting in April?
Peg, thoughts? I'm okay with putting it on there now and getting it done.
Yeah, I think we need to move on it. I am concerned if you wait till the fall to do it, I mean, how will it affect the athletic teams that use those fields?
Right. Any of the outside groups, assuming we're back open for business at that point, would be impacted. It wouldn't impact our varsity or JV softball teams, but it would certainly impact any of the outside youth groups. Yeah.
Oh, do any schools use the field, the outfield there, in the JV baseball field? Is that how far it's coming over?
Yeah.
Or no?
No, it's really going to start. There's going to be piping right behind the bleachers, essentially where the softball field is. We're not going into the Montgomery Avenue field.
Okay, but there was one version that did have it going halfway through that.
It did. There were three. Yeah, but we decided that the piping sort of in between the fields would catch anything that cascades off the Montgomery Avenue field and intercept it before it got to the softball field.
Understand. Thanks.
And directing that to the swale, and then also the softball field itself to put drainage on that field through the infield and outfield also.
Thank you.
Okay. Hang on.
So I'm sorry. So the decision was to list it on the workshop then?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Let's get it done.
Okay.
Okay. Anything
You
else?
want that's for approval. That's for approval next Thursday
Yeah.
at the workshop. Okay, so I'll put a placeholder on that agenda.
Okay.
You can give me the language tomorrow, Doug.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. So I guess we'll move on to Hereford full day K.
So the last item here is, if you recall, one of the items that we decided to move forward with was the storefront or the doorway into the kindergarten area, to separate that from the balance of the school.
Yep.
I need a professional, an architect, to essentially give me a permit sketch so I can apply, because it is a change or a set of construction that does require a permit. And then I also need something to go to contractors with for quotes. That we're in talking to the architect that did the feasibility study. He's believes that this should come in under the bid threshold. So I would just need 3 quotes.
Okay.
He is proposing to do this on a time and expense standpoint. So I went back to him, obviously, and I said, well, can you give me an idea of what this is going to cost? And he came in about, I think it was less than $3,000. It was like $2,200 to $2,700, I think, was the range that he gave me. So that would get us the design of the storefront, plus anything we needed to file the permits, and something that I could then turn over to contractors for their quote.
Okay. I mean, I'm fine with that. It has to be done.
I'm trying to see if there was any. No, I think that's, yeah.
Is that it for kindergarten so far?
Yeah, that's all I had for kindergarten. We did, I did participate in a survey with Mr. Roth and a representative from RJ Electric, looking at the projectors just this week. So we're starting to move on that list that we decided to move on,
Okay.
because it's coming fast.
Yeah. Time's flying.
Good
Okay.
news on full day kindergarten is if you build it, they will come. So they're registering like wild, which is great. It's
Excellent.
really good to see things bumping and having people excited about the opportunity that's there. So I know we were well over 100, which is a couple weeks ago. So I know that constantly getting lots of questions and good stuff. So
Great. That's excellent. I'm glad to hear that. All right. Well, we're going to move on to new business, which I know we have some Kiwanis guys. And if you want to unmute yourselves.
Sure thing. Thank you, Melanie, for having us here tonight. I know that we have had a few offline discussions with individuals that we might know, have tried to certainly respect everything that you guys do. I be honest with you, I'm up to my elbows in vaccine talk at Merck, but I can't imagine what you have gone through with the school year of trying to deal with this. So my wife is an elementary school teacher in the Allentown School District, and let's just say they're still a little bit further behind than what Upper Perk is right now. Obviously a much bigger urban area. So if it's okay with you guys, I have put together this is what I do for a living, put together PowerPoint slides. So if I can share my screen, is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. I don't use Zoom, so I apologize if I don't get it right in the beginning. Melanie, if you want to let me know when you can see my screen.
Yep. You're good.
And do I need to make it bigger?
No, that should be fine.
Terrific. So thank you again for having us here, Rick and myself. Agenda, I promise I'll make it about 5 to 7 minutes and not keep you guys any longer. We'll quickly go through introductions, history of the partnership between Upper Perkiomen School District and Upper Perkiomen Kiwanis Club, our proposal and our decision requested, our COVID-19 safety plan and precautions that we had put in place, the benefits of our organization and allowing use of the field, and then obviously any questions from your end. Obviously, jump right in, take yourself on mute. Got any questions for Rick or I? We'll just be bouncing back and forth between the two of us.
Okay.
So I'm Bobby Sager. I sit as the president of Upper Perk Kiwanis Baseball. I've been involved with the Kiwanis Club since 1998. Have pretty much sat in that president position since 1998. I graduated from Upper Perk in 1993. Played baseball for Ernie Quattrani for 4 years and 3 years for Q. And I currently am assistant coach with Ken Baker over at the Perkiomen School. Ken is somebody that Rick and I have as a valued mentor. He sits on our baseball board along with being the athletic director of Perkiomen. So, Rick and I have been able to utilize him as a mentor and bounce a lot of stuff off of him. So, Rick, I'll turn it over to you for your introduction.
Good evening. How you guys doing? My name's Rick Rocker. I'm a varsity baseball coach at Upper Perk. I'm a 1988 graduate. I also work with the athletic department, work with Bobby Kurtzwig as a game manager, site coordinator. I thank you guys for letting us have your ear for a little bit, and I'll turn it back over to Bobby.
Thanks, Rick. So I'll do this quick history of the partnership. The Upper Perk Kiwanis Club has partnered with the Upper Perk School District since 1981 to allow an opportunity for all of our youth, both male and female. By the time they're 13 to 16, as you guys talked about the softball field, we don't get a whole lot of females that play, but the opportunity is there. The Upper Perk Kiwanis Club was intricately evolved through George Bonakemper in the placement of lights on the varsity baseball field in the mid-90s. Upper Perk Kiwanis and Upper Perk School District, I was talking to Doug about this and the history of it, that we have been through a lot of upgrades in equipment, field playing surfaces since the partnership began under the direction of Brian Thomas and Kendall Baker. Starting in 81, when you're utilizing fields every year, there's a lot of maintenance, a lot of work that's done, and a lot of partnering that can be done. 1994, 2016, and 2019, the Kiwanis Club hosted what is the biggest other than state tournament that you can host under Youth Legion, hosting 3 Eastern Regional tournaments at Bonakemper Field, increasing exposure to a wide array of organizations and individuals. Since the inception of the partnership, the Upper Perk Kiwanis Club has only asked that the fields of the district are available, including the varsity, junior varsity, freshman, and middle school throughout the years. We put in field usage forms through Rick being a part of the high school program and being involved with Bobby. We do not have to request any maintenance or any personnel. It is really open up a field and allow the youth of our community to play on it. Rick, anything you want to add there? Yeah, Rick, anything you want to add there before I move on?
No, go ahead, move on, Bobby, and then I'll add it in at the end.
I will say that I said to Rick earlier today, he and I, along with Ken, are definitely the right people to be doing this, to represent the Upper Perk Kiwanis Club. Both Rick and I played through this organization as teenagers under the aforementioned Brian Thomas and Ken Baker. So it's kind of ironic and humbling to be sitting here talking on behalf of it, as I'm sure somebody did for us in the past. Our proposal, very simply, is use of the outdoor baseball facilities. Along with that would be everything traditional from 1981 on, just access to the field surface and utilization of the existing pieces that are there. There's an access to the pole barn by the tennis courts so that we can maintain the grounds. Every day after we practice, we mandate that the coaches get out the rakes, maintain the field, go that route. Continued use of the Kiwanis shed, the big brown shed behind the backstop on Montgomery Avenue. And then I know from all the years in the past, access to equipment is a little more difficult at the middle school if that were to be an option. As I said before, do not require any extra facilities personnel or management or maintenance of the fields from the district maintenance crews or custodial crews. Very simply, our decision coming out of tonight, not expected tonight, but approval for the field usage form provided to Perkiomen High School for the use of the district's outdoor baseball facilities for the requested dates of Saturday, April 10 through October 31st. Any questions before I move on?
No.
All good?
I can add it now, Bobby,
Yep.
please.
Go right ahead, Rick.
We're in a weird situation here because unlike most surrounding communities, and most of the teams in our league, we do not have any other 90-foot fields. So we're going to be at a tremendous disadvantage with our baseball players from 13 through 18 if we are unable to use the school grounds. I was at a Berks County meeting. We play in the Berks County Youth Legion League. There are 15 school districts represented there. We were one of 3 out of 15 that did not have a home field. That puts our kids, obviously at a tremendous disadvantage. Out of the 12 teams that did have home fields, 7 of them were using school grounds. And I can tell you last year, right in the middle of everything, there were at least 4 teams in the Pioneer Athletic Conference that were using school grounds. So I just wanted to add that in.
Thanks, Rick.
Yep.
Yeah. So obviously that is the critical part of the decision we have requested. This partnership, as we stated, going from 1981, our program hinges. It is critical, the use of the grounds to be able to have a program in general, as Rick had stated. Obviously, I know, and everybody here is aware, that if it wasn't for the fact that we have a global pandemic, Rick and I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now having to make a presentation. So a critical part of that is COVID-19 safety plans and precautions. I don't have it on here. Obviously, Rick being a part of the Upper Perkiomen High School staff, he's going to go through the Upper Perk return to play, and he's going to be well versed at it and well involved with it. I was involved with a return to play at Perkiomen in the fall. We conducted a full 8-week baseball schedule in the fall, which was extremely stringent on the precautions, included 100% mask wearing at all times, regardless. They just took all the stipulations and all the concerns off and said, you want to be out there playing, put a mask on. It included 6 feet in the dugouts. So both Rick and I are and will be well versed in leadership and ownership and responsibility of all of those things that are put in. The COVID-19 safety plan and precautions, I do have the 4 documents. I don't know if it's best to pull it up here, or Melanie, I could easily email them, to everybody, or to you to get to the committee that you could look at it. It's really, we actually utilized Upper Perk's return to play standards from the fall. We had the opportunity, Rick and I had the opportunity, along with the rest of the Kiwanis board, to run a hybrid summer program last year. Obviously, we went off-site. We greatly depleted all the coffers of a small civic organization to put that on. We can't do that again. But this is what we put in place to bring that back. We have a COVID-19 waiver that everybody has signed during our registration. We have a return to play safety guidelines that includes temperature taking. It includes the documentation of that. It includes what if somebody gets COVID, what you have to do to return, what must be done in any case of that nature. And then the last piece, last two pieces, we actually put together a parent guardian agreement that I asked all the parents or guardians to sign so that the club could keep it as a protection for us, putting some of the onus of watching their children and knowing their children better than we do as leaders, to know that if they're sick, don't bring them, keep them at home, everything that we know as leaders involved. And then the final piece here that I don't have availability to pull up right now, but Rick and I just got it directly from our national charter, American Legion. They have gone to a complete 100% mask wearing initiative. Every coach, every player, if there's fans allowed at a field, everybody must be in a mask 100% of the time. So that makes it easy on us. We put it in writing based off of American Legion, and that's the way it goes. With that, we as an organization, we're willing to meet any return to play standards set forth by Upper Perk, including the policing of visiting teams, including any outside the box thinking that allows our kids internally, our community kids, to return to some sort of play. We are actively working. I had spoken to Doug about this. We're actively working to procure enough locations. Hopefully it can be done with the 2 90-foot fields on the grounds and the middle school field and the Perkiomen field. We only have 4 teams. Our goal is to have 1 team per field. Everything we can do to reduce the interaction of people. Our coaches acting on behalf of the organization will be in charge of ensuring that any and all visiting teams uphold to the safety standards set forth. And Pennsylvania Youth, as I had stated, provided documentation for strict 100% mask policy. Before I go into what we feel are the benefits for the kids, any questions around what we've put into place versus what may be Upper Perk's spring return to play?
Well, I know if you're going to, if you were going to our health and safety plan, I know when we said our kids could go back to play for school, that they're getting weekly COVID tests as well.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to mention that because I didn't hear it.
I'm fortunate enough to also have a 7th grader who played football, wrestling, and baseball. So I've seen all of those. And again, like I said, we as a Kiwanis club are more than willing to get outside the box of anything and work together to get these kids the opportunity to play.
Right.
With that, I'll dive into what we think are the benefits. It provides an extracurricular activity from mid-spring through the end of July. It does include part of the time in school, but does include part of their summertime out of school, which would be an extracurricular activity for them. Continues a long-lasting relationship between a community civic organization and the school district. Provides some level of normalcy to teenagers. A tough age group going through this pandemic right now. There's a growing number of mental issues for students. Structured event with supervision can hopefully add to the benefit for our teenagers. It also, as an offshoot, not one of the most important things, but it does provide a continued maintenance of the fields at the Upper Perk campus as an overlap with the end of the school season and throughout the summer. Rick, I'm going to add you to ask any piece that I may have missed. I know you and I've had a lot of discussions. Anything else that you want to add?
Honestly, the only thing that I would add, and I know this probably isn't going to be top priority, but our season usually starts at the beginning of April. Obviously, we can push it back, but the Youth Legion season, the Connie Mac seasons, Youth Legion has tryouts. So we do start very early in the past with tryouts, with practices, and games start right after Memorial Day. So that's why when I put in the usage I did put in when we would normally start. So just want to make you aware of that. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Rick. You triggered a piece that I forgot. And when I said through the presentation of thinking outside the box, it does seem, and part of the history that we didn't state is how much of a combined effort this has always been between Upper Perkiomen High School, Perkiomen School, all the people that are involved there. Obviously, with Rick being on the coaching staff, we have zero interaction problems and would not have that crossover concern between school ball and an outside organization. It's always been a combined effort. All our boys are feeders to a high school program. So that one point there, I'm glad that you triggered my mind, Rick. And then maybe there's outside the box thinking of allowing only internal, maybe we only do stuff with the Upper Perk youth up until school's out. Then maybe we could start home games or something of that nature. Again, I want to stress that we are willing as an organization to work with Upper Perk in any way, in any form, in any fashion. So again, thanks for having us. Thanks for listening. I apologize. You give me a stage and a spotlight and I could talk for 35 minutes here.
I have that problem too. Don't feel bad.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep. So do we have any comments? Peg, you have any comments?
Well, we were going to get to this point sooner or later where, groups are going to be looking to use facilities, and quite frankly, well, that's how it's going to roll. I mean, I want to be optimistic and believe things are getting better with this pandemic and we're getting on the other side of this thing. I would just have to say, if we allow one group, we're going to wind up allowing everybody else. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's a matter of fact. Okay. I'm glad that Bob, you and Rick indicated that you're willing to work with us and modify your plan if we feel that would be necessary. So
Yep.
I'm glad that you're able to do that. I feel better knowing that, let's say. I think it sounds like you have a good plan. I would like to see it. You may want to see, well, Rick, you would already probably see it, the spring plan for the school district. Yeah, so you see that. You may want to modify yours based on the spring plan.
Yeah, and Peg, in all honesty, if you said, listen, before you're on these grounds, you have to put this in, we'll make sure we do that.
Yeah, and I can tell you guys are thorough and you mean what you say, and you're going to have good oversight. And in my mind, you guys could be the template for other groups.
I appreciate that very much. And it's been such a long-standing, if you go back through the history, we're probably the longest outside group utilizing and working with Upper Perk. We have so many connections, not only to the school. Obviously, Rick and I both play in multiple sports here, graduating here, but numerous people involved that graduated from Upper Perk and are Upper Perk long-standing community people that are involved in the civic organization.
Yeah, Bob, I'm totally familiar with the history of the program. I graduated in the 70s. And
Peg, I think you went to school with my uncle.
Who's your uncle?
Scott
Sager. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm looking at your last name. I'm thinking, it's got to be, yeah.
Yep.
It was in my grade.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was a year ahead of me. I was in Dana's class. So yeah, you don't have to sell me on the benefits of all of this.
I know.
So we just got to kind of figure out how to make it work,
Okay.
Well, I know some of the issue, all of us just talked about what to do with facilities this year. and how that works with or doesn't work with anything. So, Alan, do you have anything to add to that? Because I know this isn't really a board decision.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys coming today to talk. And, you know, I think Peg hit it on the head. As I'm listening, this is less to do with the Kiwanis, because I think only being here a year and a half and having respect for the relationships that are here, we obviously want to keep that going. This is definitely not bah humbug, stay off. It's just a collaborative piece, and probably nausea. People continue to hear me that everything we got to do is to keep the 7 to 4 school going. That's the most important thing, no matter what, regardless. I mean, I'm a full supporter of athletics and sports and drama and everything, but that's the main thing. So I think our initial take on it was let's get through the spring season and get through graduation. That way, once we hit June 11th, we feel really good knowing that, like Peg said, at some point it's going to happen, right? I've been contacted by the group that rents the turf, because they're going here and going there and would like to see the money come internal. And I get it. I completely understand it. I mean, and it's a great venue, and I'm sure the neighbors on the other side are happy that we don't have those rentals, but that's not why we're here, right? So different conversation. But no, I think that's good to hear, and I appreciate you guys putting the time together. Yeah, I think we've got to just continue to take a look at it as we get closer. I understand the timing of it. It's just, I think the initial thought when we went through, I mean, I remember even talking about it through the winter, not having basketball, which was a big blow to a lot of people, and the cleaning and that type of thing. So I think if you were able to forward that, but I agree with Peg that once forward the stuff you have put together, would be definitely helpful to hear that. But please know it was not no. The answer is no. What's the question? Because that's definitely not the way we operate, and want to maintain that and keep our kids moving forward and find that middle ground there. I thought about it a lot coming into the meeting, knowing these conversations are happening because of the other fields that people want to rent, and what we're hearing now, and that we're going to see a little bump up here in cases just in general, but that's neither here nor there. How do we preserve and/or fortify the cleanliness of those facilities? That's what happens at the school, right? That's the Wednesday piece, and all of that. So that's what we got to kind of work through. So I think we're getting there. It's just a matter of what time. I wouldn't see I think where Doug and I have many conversations about facilities. I don't see issues in the summer. Internal facility rentals, I see major issues in the summer. We got brand new programs going. We got I know you're not asking for that, but I'm just talking out loud. We've got remediation programs in all 5 schools. We've got construction and renovations and all that kind of stuff. So I think they were minimal already, but those will probably be off the table just from all of that. But externally, I think that those will be there. Just a matter of the timing of it. So I think we'll keep having the conversation.
Okay.
And get some feedback.
Yeah.
Doug, I missed anything from our conversations?
No, I don't think you did, Alan. Bobby, I just had a couple quick questions.
Yeah, sure.
I think this is both weekday and weekend, or is it limited to just weekends?
It would be both once school baseball would be completed. So traditionally, Doug, let me take it to a year without COVID. Traditionally, as Rick had stated, because of the fact that all of these Youth Legion and Connie Mack programs are in the same basic setup and structure as their school district. Boyertown is Boyertown, Upper Perk is Upper Perk. When school ball ends, these organizations try and start right up. So literally, like Rick said, our league starts games the week after Memorial Day. We have ever since I've been involved and even before me, we have a strict policy with our coaches that the children need either right after school or in the evening time to do homework. So if school ball is still going on, it's obviously the evening and there are no weekday practices. At that time, they may try and get the kids together on the weekends on a Saturday and Sunday. So when I say maybe we can think outside the box and go practice time, maybe it's a situation and a setup that works out where we only utilize the facilities on a weekend until or utilize the facilities on weekend while school ball is going on for practice, bring nobody in from the outside until school's over, like you were using the June 11th date. I don't know. Listen, I realize I don't have all the answers, and there's a good group of people here that may have the best answer. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the right answer, to do it the right way, to get these kids back onto the field, to extend their opportunity to play, like Rick said, and not hamstring them moving forward.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
That was a nice, well thought out presentation, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Melanie,
Melanie,
can I get that in writing? I'm going to pass it along to my manager.
Sure. Happy to do it.
Melanie, Jennifer Hartzell has her hand up.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Jennifer, go ahead and unmute yourself. We're a lot more informal here.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me tonight. Apparently, I'm the only parent on the board meeting or on this meeting tonight. But I did want to ask a question per the email that I received from Dr. Carpenter last night. What type of facility do you guys have set up for tech students who don't have busing since it was removed for midday busing for tech students? And what kind of lunch accommodations do you plan on giving the students? As far as facilities, are you going to be bringing in modulars? And how many students will be in each mod?
Anybody want to take a stab at that one? Because I've never heard anything about modulars.
So I haven't either, but I figured that was what the plan was, since there's busing that's being refused to be given to AM or PM tech students. I do have a student who is a virtual tech student, or I'm sorry, a face-to-face tech student, but a virtual high school. So I wasn't sure if you guys were planning on having them attend in a classroom with less students, with a teacher as basically a classroom moderator. I wasn't sure how you guys were doing that. I just know that my student is no longer going to be receiving busing as of April 6th. And I just wanted to find out what you guys had plans for the students who don't have ways to get home.
I can take that, Jennifer. It's not a facilities topic for this meeting specifically. I can follow up with you or have someone follow up with you. I mean, the decision there about busing in terms of getting us back to the 4-day normal schedule busing is still provided to and from the high school. And
so the virtual
students
students are just cast off to the side and expected to sit outside of the high school until afternoon busing. So are they going to be excused from all their classes at the high school if they're not able to attend?
No, I think they think that the information of getting it out yesterday was to inform people of the decision in terms of the busing.
So how are you informing parents of education in the facility?
Yeah, it's not a facilities topic for this meeting specifically. So I'm happy to follow up with you tomorrow if you'd like.
That would be great, because I mean, I know there is majority of the tech students who are virtual have nowhere for their kids to go. And I just think that, you know, our virtual students for the high school are basically getting shafted by the district and are being thrown out to the wolves with nowhere to go, no way to get home. There's a lot of working parents in this district. There's also a lot of parents who have multiple children at home, all under the age that is legally allowed to be left home alone to pick up another child. So you're not only impeding the high school students' education, but the board on this decision is also impeding the elementary school's education, because those students are going to have to leave their classrooms for anywhere between 15 minutes to a half an hour of education to pick up their older siblings at the high school. I just want to know how the board is planning on handling this situation, because it does affect majority of the district.
Okay, thank you. I'll give you a call tomorrow or I'll follow up. The decision in terms of providing the door-to-door and midday busing from the beginning of the school year was due to being full virtual, as well as providing that when we were in the hybrid, because the students could not get there on their blue and gold days. So
that's fine. Do you need my phone number to follow up with me?
no, I'll get it. I don't want to put it on a public meeting with a recording here, so I'll get it from Skyward and give you a call.
Okay, do you want to know my student's name?
If you'd like
I
to,
have
I can.
many of them in the district, so that's why I'm
Okay.
asking.
Sure, you can, if you'd like to share it, or you could put it in the chat to me, that's fine.
My stepdaughter's name is Alexis Donofrio. She is in 10th grade and she attends the culinary department at Western Tech.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jennifer. So do we have any more comments on our Kiwanis? And Alan, you'll follow up for Jen tomorrow. That'd be great. Thank you. I didn't see that email from Dr. Carpenter either, so.
I did post it on the Parents of Upper Perk website on Facebook, just so you know.
Oh, okay. I don't check that out. Okay. Anything else? So I guess, Bobby and Rick, I guess we're gonna just have to hang in there for a bit. I know that's gonna be difficult, but I mean, I'm gathering from the conversation, it's not gonna be during school. Right now.
Okay.
Since we've sort of said no rentals anywhere for anything, I
Yeah.
think we have to, it's just we're gonna open a can of worms if we do that right at the moment.
Yeah, you'll probably have to modify your plan. And Bobby, just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
would you have access to Perkiomen School's field at all?
I'm doing the same exact, Rick and I and Ken are doing the same exact process there as well, Peg, because they have the same concerns, you know. So same exact presentation, same exact work with the administration over there as well.
Okay.
You know what I was thinking too, I can't say as I know what the size of the fields are. Is there anything that's good for that size field at the Camelot Park in Upper Hanover?
No, unfortunately, Melanie, we've looked and we've been in this situation, and honestly, like I said before, so as you get to 13 years old and go full-size baseball field, that's what it was referenced to as a 90-foot field. So when I say 90-foot field, the only 90-foot fields in the town and community of Upper Perk go from Sumleytown to Hereford are on the grounds. There's 3 on the grounds of Upper Perk School District and 1 on the grounds of Perkiomen School.
Okay, thanks. I just thought I'd throw it out there in case you didn't think of it.
Technically, there's one at the 4-5 building too.
That's what I apologize, Peg.
Yeah.
I still have that as the old middle school.
I thought that's what you meant. Yeah.
But technically, at the high school, there are 3 fields, if you count that one in the back.
Yeah, and
Which
I
we've done a
believe-
tremendous amount of work before in the past.
yeah,
My last comment would be, I would, if after graduation is not going to help us. I get it. I understand, as a board, as a committee, where you guys are. I would just ask, can you consider after spring sports are done? That would help us out a little bit. Or a lot more, I should say.
Yeah, right now the schedule says 5/14. That's not barring any playoffs or any changes due to weather, right? I'm just looking at the schedule here.
I mean, that would be tremendous if you guys could do that.
Are there playoffs this year with COVID? Are they planning on doing a postseason? Do you know?
They're not doing any. I know baseball is not doing a Final Four playoff. There would be districts. There would be a possibility of having home games with all the teams. So, but I don't think there would be. Peg, I don't know if you heard. I mean, I don't know if they actually did home games in winter sports for districts, or if they went somewhere else. Like if they used colleges, I'm not quite sure. So that might.
There were a lot of places that did. There were a lot of places that didn't want to host things in the winter,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
definitely swimming and definitely a couple others that
Right.
that bowed. Wrestling
And I know
too was a big challenge.
from what I understand, they're cutting down the number of teams that are going to be in districts too. So, your chance of getting a home game is probably, a lot less than it would have been in a non-pandemic year.
right. And Rick, they did that for all the sports, correct? I know they reduced the number of wrestlers out at out at Hershey and the rest of that.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Thanks,
Melanie,
guys.
Melanie,
Really
the only
appreciate it.
question I have is, and I apologize because this is my naivety. You made a comment that this is not a board decision. Is there any, and I know, I understand that these are unprecedented times. You don't have a playbook and a plan for how do we come out of and make decisions about a global pandemic. I get that part. What are the next steps? Is there anything that, maybe Rick and I or the organization can get involved, like Peg said, and be part of the cure, part of the solution to help how we're going to go back?
Well, I think, and again, I think as Alan said, I want to make sure that you guys don't think it's you, because it's not. It's not going to be.
Yep. It's going to be everybody.
We love these relationships because, like you said, you're feeder teams for ours, and we like that. I just think right now, like, it's not our top, and I don't mean this in a bad way either.
No, exactly. Yep.
It's not our top priority. We got to get those kids in. They got to be learning. And, it's already been long enough.
Yeah.
So, and again, we'll have graduation, we'll have a million other things that are going to have to take place in some form or another, which, we have to talk about those too. Yeah.
Okay. So is it really what I mean? Is it a sit back, wait for you guys to someone to contact us, or should we follow up with somebody? That's really where I don't know what's the protocol, even though this is COVID-19 is a different protocol.
Yeah, protocol is out the window, I think. Yep, I agree. I agree, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think, but Melanie, the comment that you made about not being a board decision, I mean, typically the board's not deciding on who gets facility rentals and who goes at this time or that time. I mean, if the board wanted to say, as a board, open it up, then that would be a different conversation. But I think that's usually an administrative piece to manage that. So, I mean, the discussion here, this is the facilities, the natural place to have the discussion on this topic. I'm surprised we haven't had it sooner. I mean, we had it through the winter with other rentals and use of facilities. I think we're all getting the fever now to get going. So we're trying to plan for all the right reasons. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't even want to tell you, just hang in there I can't even tell you for how long.
Okay.
Obviously you have to move your programs forward as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Not being difficult. I promise.
Got it. No,
Bob, if anything, I would say that it would probably be Doug who would be the one reaching back out, or someone from his office there.
Okay.
Over the next bit of time. If you can forward the information you have on your health and safety plans to Doug or myself, that would be great.
Okay, I'll put both of you in. I'll put both of you in the email. I'll get it sent to you, and then Dr. Roach, that's really what I was looking for. I don't want to be hey, I'm calling every day, still looking for an answer. Gotcha. If we know that who's going to be a point of contact, then we work that way, and we work.
You can call Doug every day. He doesn't mind.
He loves it.
You got it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys.
I appreciate it. Rick, I'm going to drop off. Thank you very much, Rick, for all your help and taking your time. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Good luck.
Yep. Thank you. You too. Okay. Do we have any other new business that we want to add in?
I just wanted to just ask Doug if, are we good to go, and are we getting, to the point where we're ready to go in April to bring everybody back? And how's your staff doing with cleaning and getting the buildings prepared?
No, overall, I'm comfortable. The staff has been doing a nice job. Up until recently, we had at least one additional temporary custodian in every school, and actually two at the high school, but we lost one at 4 or 5. So that person's hopefully will be replaced shortly here by the temporary agency. We're still waiting on final student counts at the elementary, so we know, how many desks to kind of repopulate the classrooms with. And obviously, it's not, as Dr. Roach has said, we're not opening the floodgates here. All of our mitigation efforts are still going to be, very much in place and enforced. It's essentially more students in the classroom. So we're going to continue. It's really been, I think the success has been truly been a partnership. So, the teachers have stepped up and they're kind of taking care of their classrooms proper. We're supplying them with the sanitizing products and the gloves and wipes, and they're sort of handling those, the transitions and the school day. We're taking care of hallways and areas and restrooms and those areas during the day. The temp custodians are, a rag spray bottle all day long, walking around the schools. And then at night, obviously we are, going deeper with our sanitizing. I'll be honest with you, I'm more comfortable than I was 6 or 9 months ago, because more of the science that's coming out is saying that, surface transmission is not, the primary or secondary, method that this virus is migrating from one person to another. Not that it's not possible. So we need to, keep our guard up and continue to, our sanitizing efforts. But HVAC wise, I think we have a good handle on, we're running systems longer. We're doing weather dependent. We're doing fresh air purges a couple times a day in each of the schools. The teachers with operable windows are cracking those windows because it's proven just an inch or two, air exchanges and things like that in the classroom. So far, I think the strength of our health and safety plan and the mitigation efforts are going to get us through this. We're, tribute to Dr. Roach and Dr. Farina. We are far and beyond many of the other school districts in the county in terms of the strength of our plan and our testing capabilities. It's been, from my perspective, it's been, very collaborative, and the teamwork has been exceptional. Just we haven't had to close yet, and I think that speaks volumes.
Well, thank you for everything that you've been doing,
Yep.
and your staff. Really appreciate it.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, they're truly frontline workers. They've been in the entire time.
Yep.
We didn't go home in March or April. We had other things we had to do, and make sure that the facilities were well maintained and prepare for the return.
Yep. Thank you. I always say thank you to all of our admins. I feel like everybody has been working together, and it shows. It's
Mhm.
really a good thing. Yep.
Yeah,
Good
agreed.
stuff. Yep. All right. Any other new business? Anything else, Peg? Dana? No? Okay. All right. Well, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you, everyone. Good meeting. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.